Hello and welcome everyone. I'm Ali Alahimir, and this is Industry Insight, a series of conversations with leaders in industrial operations where we explore emerging trends in technology, opportunities, and challenges shaping the digital landscape, and also the impact on business operations and people. Joining me today to kick off the series is Roberto Mansur, Head of Technology at Suzano. Roberto, welcome to this interview. It's an absolute pleasure to have you share your experience with us. Could you begin, Roberto, telling us a little bit about Suzano and obviously yourself, your role in the company?
Okay. So Suzano is the largest pulp producer in the world, and we have innovation in our roots for more than 100 years. My role at Suzano is the lead of tech team, which also includes data science, data engineer, dev team, robot process automation, and also analytics and BI. So we are in a long journey for the last 5 years, and we started the digitalization program. And our main goal is really to identify opportunities in the business to apply technology to improve our operational excellence and also in our value chain, starting from the clonal seedling to the delivery of the final product to the customers. So yeah, we start small, but we have an inspiration to bring more than billion reais in value for Suzano with our initiatives.
The journey over the past 5 years, how did you get to this point? And how were you able to obtain the organizational support to build such a comprehensive program around your digital transformation?
Uh, good, good question. As I mentioned, we started small with a few resources 5 years ago, and I was the number one in the tech team. Yeah, I was, a general and no soldiers. But today we are 60 professionals working in all areas in Suzano, as I mentioned, from the forest to our clients. Uh, our our strategy was really to identify the best opportunities and areas that were eager to apply tech to change their business. So on the very beginning, we start with the first team, which is, they were eager to jump in the digital. We have huge opportunities there and a sponsorship of the senior executives. And it's not only about tech, as you guys must know, it's really about process and people. Of course, we use cloud first, machine learning, optimization, software engineering, data lakes. But tech is, it's a kind of a third of our effort. If you see the transformation perspective.
So we talked about the digital program and how rapidly the team has grown at Suzano. Could you tell us, like, what are some of the primary drivers of this program in your organization? And how do you balance all the technology initiatives against people and the process change that you have across your organization?
Okay. Uh, as I mentioned, it's all about the problem and the opportunities. And the tech team needs really to dive deep in the business. Our data scientists must understand a lot about business decisions, and the business must acknowledge that they have a problem. And frequently, this is the hardest part. We have in the past some initiatives that the team have sure about the impact of a possible tech solution, but the business cannot see the opportunity because they don't have they have the focus on the daily operations or in the silo operations. So transformation is also about evangelize your organization. This take time, and during this process you have to deliver quick wins and to work and show them that it's possible to change. And so summarizing, it's a kind of a fight in two fronts. One, to deliver the obvious benefits and work, with the quick wins. And another one, it's really to create the culture and engage the areas. And of course, we can begin with awareness, but after awareness, we need to also to engage these business areas and change and transform these business areas. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, very good, very good. Thanks, Roberto, for that. Roberto, we're also seeing non-traditional players that are injecting new ideas and technologies into, that ecosystem of people, process, and technology. So innovation really is happening at a much faster clock speed than ever before. So just with respect to identification of those opportunities or those technologies that could benefit
Okay, okay. The transformation, it's not a sprint, a short run. It's a long run. You need people connected with the innovation ecosystem to talk with new players and get refresh the ideas and evolutions. It's not a lonely journey. You cannot, and also you cannot rely on just a few vendors, because if you know, if the innovation is off the shelf, it's not an innovation anymore. Maybe when we are talking about innovation, it's really something that it's transforming and it's something that's new. So to do that, we have to work, of course, with refreshing your vendors and trying to understand the other sectors and other types of industries, and also create a team that have the discipline to execute. Have people in your team that have this execution bias, and people that come from the business and have network and will be listen in strategic forums in your in strategic meetings, and this have these two types of people in your team. It's essential for the success. People that will be listened by the business, and people that are listening outside your industry and get insights from what is happening with tech. So I think
Mhm.
it's a kind of balance.
Yeah, that's a very important point. A very important point. Now, we talked about identification of opportunities. You also touched on execution. Overall, if we focus on execution, okay, would you be able to share any insights on what has been some of the successful strategies and some of the ones that have been challenged with focus on execution? So could you tell us a little bit about strategy around execution and success versus failure? What factors have contributed to each?
Okay, okay. So I think that successful strategy in this game is to have you know the good people, the best people, if it's possible, aboard on board. Uh, Looking inside, inside resource and also outside your organization. I mean, the partners. You will not find unicorns. People that master everything. It's a game that it's complementary skills. So, but you need to have a high bar to and that understanding the process, the issues that you have in your industry, the algorithms that should be implemented, the product owner with communication skills and understand of the big picture, data engineers that should understand the limitation of the data and also your pipeline. And this knowing this is fundamental for the success, and it should change all the way you hire and you coach your team. Create
Mhm.
this culture of collaboration excellence. And I'm not talking about only with your the in-source team. I'm talking also about the partners together with in this journey. The challenge part is that also a live organization. You have turnovers, key sponsors and key users that left the company, change areas. The traditional projects, the traditional project model does not fit anymore. You have a start and end. This is not working. Of course, we use the product strategy that help us guiding the life cycle of a product, the digital product or a data product inside our organization, that it's connected and have their own KPIs. So the product have the KPIs that it's correlated with a business KPI. This helps a lot to map the value that we're bringing for your organization. But even with this strategy, it's challenging to guarantee that the solution will not drift and the operation will not roll out and run just as before you implemented your solution. I think that the biggest disadvantage of the most digital technologies, that it's very easy to roll out back to the old way. So the operation now can do the old way. For example, if you create optimization in your factory or mill, and it's quite easy, to not use it. So you have to really reinforce the importance of the KPIs and the business KPIs that this type of tech can move, can improve, and that's the way I think we are trying and evolving in this journey doing here in Suzano.
That's very smart. For some of the organizations that might not necessarily be an early adopter of some of these capabilities, so let's call them organizations that are following the lead. They have realized that yes, it is important to start looking at digital and putting that one at the forefront of their strategic imperatives. But for those, there is a substantial cost of investment
Yeah.
associated with that learning, the first learning, building the foundational capabilities, right? Um, is there a way, and how could you see those companies being able to succeed without having to start from scratch?
Yeah.
Do you believe that building the foundational elements should be first, or do you think that taking a solution first approach might be a little bit more strategic, specifically for companies that just want to start that journey?
Yeah. If you start your journey with an expensive foundation, you will fail. You really have to select the best use cases that will bring value for the company and start from it. Of course, I'm talking about MVP, yeah, but this it's important to start with the meat. I mean, with the business KPI. Get the sponsorship with a senior executive. It's also important because I'm not talking about a huge investment, but we are going to need some investment and define the execution strategy. Of course, in source, outsource, it depends of the stage that you are, and show the improvements and the important KPIs. Implement use agile is essential, as I mentioned, because you need to bring to deliver a fast MVP and also start to iterate and to improve. And after the first, the second, the third product that you create, you will not have much problem with budget investment in your infrastructure and create some space also for risk initiatives. So it takes some times. It takes a couple of years to achieve that, but worth. And it's hard to find shortcuts because as I mentioned, it's all about culture. You have to deliver these quick wins, but also create your culture. So yeah, if you if you start with an important use case and show that for your organization. That's I think it's the first step.
With
Go ahead.
respect to resources, like which capabilities do you think will be best suited to have them develop internally, and which ones would be
Yeah,
more suitable for outsourcing?
yeah. For me, the challenge is really make your organization think digital. That's the hardest skill to find in the business as a whole. And I'm not here speaking about the tech team, the culture that the company has. Uh, you have to. There is no way to outsourcing your culture. I mean, you have to create it. You have to change it. You have to transform and evolve it from what you have. So this type of transformation of the culture, you have to work. There is no way, and it's a long journey. Yeah. I think the word journey really express what it will be. Uh, and you have to work your organization as a whole. And again, not only tech team. I'm talking about real business. Fortunately, as we mentioned, you don't need to wait to create this culture change to start,
Hmm.
but you need in parallel start to nurture this digital culture in the tech space. Speaking a little bit about the technical area, I mean the tech. I think that the organization must analyze what is strategic for them to start to create and co-create inside. It's as I mentioned, it's hard to find strategic initiatives off the shelf outside because if it's strategic for you, maybe it's something that it only you must have, or at least you have to achieve to get it before the others. Because if it's off the shelves again, it's a commodity, so it's not so strategic. But my advice here, it's really to be smart, to find opportunities to accelerate with partners and find space also for internal development and experimentation. So it's a balance between two.
Yeah, that's a very impactful approach, Roberto. Thanks for sharing that. I would like to now maybe speak a little bit about data analytics, machine learning, and overall, what do you see? What are some of the business areas that are most realizing value from data and machine learning more specifically?
In our case, I think that the first area that we could realize a huge impact in the business was on the forest operation, mainly on the planning part, on the logistics, and after the forest, the guys from the mill, the industry, also entering the program, and after the mill and industry, we have the guys from the supply chain planning, so on. So, but I think that the forest was our first operation that we could realize a lot of value, because the gap between what we are doing and what you have available in the market was huge. So yeah, we work, and it's a huge asset for us. So yeah, in our case was the first area.
That's very exciting. Roberto, like, how about some of the applications? When we talk about specifically industrial manufacturing, for example, obviously, um, you could look at it from different angles, with smart people, digital coaches, remote worker enablement. We also hear a lot about smart equipment with automation, robotics, etc. We also hear about smart operations, digital twins, control towers, process optimization. Um, how about those applications? Which one of them have you found to be more relevant to your industry and more valuable to some of the pain points that your operations are facing?
Okay, yeah, I can give some examples. IoT and sensor, I think they are critical for decisions, because you have to measure, to have some KPIs, and also to decide something. So IoT is something that we are looking closely, especially in the forest. Robot process automation is also an avenue of value and simplification inside the company, mainly in the back office. So yeah, it's something that we are speeding up. Smart controls on the mill should be the new normal. I mean, to have the smart control can be should be our normal in terms of operating our mills. Smart cameras also is something that we see a lot of potential to become these new sensors and new decisions that you have in the plant, in the industrial plant. So smart cameras is also something that we are seeing, and start to accelerate to the applications. Um, and of course, this is this will generate much more data, and of course you have to store that in your data lake. So yeah, we have to invest a little bit in the infrastructure. As I mentioned, it's not something that it's expensive. Can use it's smart, mainly selecting some use case that makes sense. But I think this, I'm seeing this as the main technologies or enablers that in our industry.
Mhm. Yeah, fantastic. Thanks, Roberto, for sharing that. And lastly, I cannot conclude without mentioning generative AI.
Yeah.
What do you envision as the potential of Gen AI in industrial manufacturing? Do you see any applications? Do you see, like, what do you see as the opportunities moving forward?
Okay. I think AI will be for all of us. It's really overwhelmed of the possibilities of the business, and to find what is a waste of time and what will aggregate to the business will be our future job, because it's so many possibilities. But I think that Gen AI will be the new UX UI for manufacturing systems, integrating the existing controls and algorithms, and provide a natural language as an interface. I see a smart agent ask a human operator to change a set point after running optimized algorithm to find opportunities to improve productivity, for example. This interface will be extended also for maintenance teams, have a complete diagnosis of equipment, get information from vibration systems, temperature sensors, and others, but also looking for the vendor manual and check SAP if I have a spare part for that pump, for example, and order if it's not the case, if you don't have spare and you have a problem. So I think that Gen AI you will really be a kind of a robot process automation with asteroids, and have really potential on the operation and industry space, but also in your back office. So you have to look for both.
Fantastic. Perfect. No, I don't have any other questions, Roberto. Thank you for sharing all the insight. It's extremely valuable, and it's been a pleasure speaking with you and gaining perspective on some of the initiatives that you have and some of the perspectives you have on adoption of digital capabilities in industrial operations. Thank you very much for sharing this time with us, Roberto. We really appreciate that.
Thank you. Thank you for the invitation, Ali. Thank you very much.
Thank you.